Hello everybody, and welcome to another reading log. This time we're doing it actually up to date. It's going to be February 2022. I actually read a lot less this time around because of course the month is shorter and I was going absolutely crazy over in January. We're not going to talk about that. So I read about 40 plus volumes this time around. Yeah, I'm excited to share with you. So yeah, let's get started. So for the first volume that I read this month, is definitely a good way to start off February, you know, the month of love. It's Black Clover Volume 28. There's a lot to talk about in this volume specifically because this is during the big invasion that's going on into the Spade Kingdom, and I believe it's the Spade Kingdom. Gosh, I hope I'm right. But there's a lot that goes on. You get to see a lot of the new demons and a lot of just kind of everything, the devils in general. It's just a really good volume, and I'm really excited to see what happens next. Coming up next, Banana Fish Volume 2. I got this actually a while back, I think back in either December or January, I'm not really remembering right now, but wow, this series continues to impress me. It's very, very dark, it's very deep, there's a lot of well-written characters, just an overall interesting and compelling story, and I'm excited to see where it goes. These volumes, I'm pretty sure are newer prints because the pages are pretty stiff. So excited to get more of it, although it's been very hard recently, so hopefully I'll be able to get more soon. Coming up next, this is probably the prettiest volumes I got, or prettiest volumes that I read. This is Children of the Whales Volumes 2 and 3. If you know anything about Children of the Whales, you know that this series is absolutely gorgeous, and there's a lot you could talk about here, but with Volumes 2 and 3, it just continues more of the story about the invasion from the other people that you meet. And then the people of the Sand Whales' defense of their place. And yeah, just genuinely really interesting. There's a lot to dig into here. And I'm excited to see what happens in Volume 4. Because I actually do have Volume 4, but I haven't read it yet. So I will probably be reading that soon. But yeah, as you can see, the covers are really cool. And they have this really interesting highlighting. It's perfect when I got on the ring light here. But yeah, love this series. Super excited. I know it's still going on, I believe. I don't know if it is going on in Japan still, but I know it's still releasing in the US, so definitely need to catch up. Alright, now probably my forerunner for my favorite series, reading in 2022. This is Hell's Paradise Jigo Kuraku by Yuji Kaku. This is volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4. What an absolutely phenomenal series. The visuals are great, the characters are great, the story is great. I mean, there's just so much to build here. The world building is phenomenal. I mean, jeez. I've been posting it on Twitter, here and there, about, some of the panels that are, absolutely, jaw-dropping. Look at this. There's so much raw emotion that could be drawn, or that could be seen in this, series. So I'm just, really excited to keep reading it. It's been really hard to find volumes, though, so hopefully Volume 5 gets a reprint soon, or is in the middle of reprinting, which I think it is. So yeah, just really excited. I know Yuji Kaku is currently releasing another series out. I think it's called the Yashiman or something like that. So excited to read that if it ever comes out to English printing. Alright, coming up, another one of my, I would say, underrated series. Wish more people talked about it. This is Twin Star Exorcist Onmyoji, volumes 4, 5, and 6. So this is basically my go-to series because Blue Exorcist has been on hiatus, so I'm really sad about that. So I just needed another Exorcist series, and some people from Twitter were saying that, oh yeah, I should definitely check out Twin Star Exorcist, and I am not disappointed. The series is awesome. It's pretty simple, it's pretty fun. The visuals are gorgeous. The fights are actually really cool, and the power system is pretty interesting. And just a genuinely interesting characters. I could do without some of the pandering or some of the fan service, but it's fine. It's not terrible. It could be a lot worse, I guess. But yeah, just a genuinely fun series. Just picked up 2 more volumes of this, so I'm gonna keep reading it. Hopefully, we'll still keep loving it. But yeah, just overall really cool designs. Alright, series that I talked about in my last one, this is Chainsaw Man Volume 9. and I definitely said that I changed my mind about the series in Volume 7, I believe, or Volume 6, where I felt like it really picked up, and I would continue with that same statement here with Chainsaw Man Volume 9. This is the one where you find out a lot more about Makima, and yeah, more about what's his face? Can't remember his name. Really sad, but just genuinely just a very interesting story. I'm still not the biggest fan of the art. I think some of the art is either like really good or just plain meh for me. But I think some of the character arcs in this volume specifically just get really intense and genuinely just like make you really think about what you're reading, which I think is really cool. So yeah, give it a shot. I know it's pretty short. I think it's coming up to its end in English soon, and there's a second part. So excited to see what happens with that. And probably the biggest thing and the volume that took me the longest, which is probably why I didn't read as much this month, but this chunky boy, Junji Ito's Tomie. Out of the 3 like big series that I've read from him, which is Uzumaki, Gyo, and Tomie, I would say this is probably my least favorite. Not to say that this is bad. I just think that some parts are like not as interesting, I would say. There are definitely some really creepy parts, but I think in general, I think Uzumaki has a more cohesive story, and Gyo is my favorite, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, why is that? And I just think it's because Gyo is like the creepiest, in my opinion. I think it definitely goes the furthest. However, I do think that some of the parts, you know, like the visuals are creepy, very stunning, and just turned to one of my least favorite parts. But just a genuinely creepy series. Yeah, I think it's okay. A solid 8 out of 10 from Junji Ito. I guess that's not necessarily a good thing. It's yeah, it's very good, but it's not my favorite. So if you get the chance to find it, I would say check it out at your own risk. If you don't like horror stuff, you probably shouldn't read this at all. But if you're really into Junji Ito, then I would say, yeah, this is a must-have. Alright, next up. Probably my current favorite shojo series, and probably my I wouldn't say my favorite romance series, but man, I am really enjoying it. I read a good chunk of Shortcake Cake. This is volumes 1 through 7. To give you a short synopsis, it's about a girl named Ten, which I'm going to show you here. Girl named Ten who moves into a boarding house and meets a bunch of random characters and stuff like that, and meets, most importantly, meets 2 boys who end up becoming, I would say, love interest in a way, but genuinely they just become like good friends, and then eventually, spoiler alert, she does end up dating one of the boys. I'm not going to say who, but after volume 6 is when they start to go out. So just a genuinely wholesome series. It's really cute. There are a couple characters that I really hate, and there are a couple characters that I really love. I genuinely think that a lot of the relationships are really built well, and the characters' struggles with relationships, love, and overall is just really interesting. And I'm really excited to finish this, even though I'm probably going to be really sad when I finish it. So yeah, happy that I read this. And if you didn't know, Sumo Morishita is the same mangaka behind A Sign of Affection. So if you remember that from my last reading log, I said that I really like that series, and I would say the same for this one. Alright, my next big one. This is a series that I hold really near and dear to my heart. I first read it back in Shonen Jump when it, back when it released? I don't even remember when that was. Probably like the late 2000s, maybe the early 2010s, but this is Tagamibachi. I read volumes 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. That is the rest of the series, and it was absolutely breathtaking, and it makes me sad that I have to finish it, because I genuinely love this series, and I think it's inarguably one of my favorite shonen series of all time. And yeah, I mean, the visuals are gorgeous. I think like the main character, although he's a bit of a crybaby, I think it's warranted in a way. As you come to find out more about his story and his past, I think there's a lot to like connect with him, and just like I don't know, it's just so gorgeous, and it has some of the best frames and best use of black in ink like that I've ever seen in manga. So spoilers for anyone who's actually reading this, I would not look at this, but just like genuinely the way like it uses blacks, grays, and whites, I think is some of the best. Which it's like, well, no duh, it's like that's what manga is. Well, yeah, but I think it's used in such a way that it really builds out the depth of the area, really builds out like darkness and the light, which is an important theme of this series. And yeah, so if you ever get the chance, please read this. I'm pretty sure it's on the Shonen Jump app. I wouldn't say it's easy to find now just because it's out of print, or it should be out of print. Don't quote me on that. But overall, this is a fantastic series, and yeah, I'm really sad that I had to finish it, but it needed to be done, and I'm glad that I did. So yeah, maybe I'll do a full review of this at some point. Alright, another big series that I got 2 more volumes for is Komi Can't Communicate, volumes 6 through 7. Just more wholesome goodness. Just more fun times with the cast. Yeah, not much new to say about this. I wouldn't say it's getting samey, but it's hard to, how do I say it, explain like what happens, because it's really a whole lot of nothing. Like, oh, like they were in a snowball fight, and oh, they were celebrating Komi's birthday, and like I don't know. It's just like normal moments in life that are told throughout these like volumes. So I'm not like, you know, I'm struggling to explain what could be in there, but that's generally the gist of it. I will say the weird thing about my volume 6 is for some reason they gave it this like weird like rocky texture. You can kind of see it in like the glare, but if you look at like the glare of this one, there's like it looks like it's like textured, but it's still smooth. This one is actually like very like rocky feeling, or not rocky, but like it has like a weird texture to it. So I don't know, just a random bizarre thing that happened to me. All right, next volume. A Bittersweet Farewell. It's Goodnight Poon Poon Volume 7. I explained in my last reading log that Volumes 5 and 6 really screwed me up, and I was holding off on reading Volume 7, and that is still true. After reading Volume 7, it was really sad, and as I said, bittersweet, but like there was just so many emotions to have at the end of this series. I couldn't tell if I was happy, I couldn't tell if I was angry, I couldn't tell if I was sad, I couldn't tell if I was confused, which I was, and I still am, but overall, this is a very good series. You need to really be in the right mind space. I would not suggest reading this if you are at all feeling sad, depressed, anxious in any kind of way, just because there are a lot of things that could trigger that in this series, and yeah. But if you are in the right mental headspace, or if you just want to feel something, I guess, then I would suggest checking this out. But yeah, it just there's a lot of complicated emotions, I would say, that I felt after the series ended. So yeah, but I would probably rank this as my probably 3rd favorite Inio Sano. Sorry, I was looking at my books, so you can't see, they're off screen, but like I would say this is probably my 3rd favorite thing by Inio Sano. I will probably, I don't know, I might do like a little retrospective of his stuff in America. So, but yeah, genuinely a good series. Next up, from Tokyo Pop, I read Double by Ayako Noda. So this is a really interesting series about this actor and like his like partner, I guess, or like kind of like his helper in a way. He's a person who helps this guy learn how to, oh, let me move that out of the glare. He is this guy, he's an actor, and so is he, but this guy helps him, this guy, learn how to become like the best he can be, because he has a hard time learning like lines and other stuff, but once he's like in it, he's like one of the best actors that anyone's ever seen. But yeah, this guy starts to get left behind in terms of like the story and in terms of like his growth as an actor. So he is struggling with trying to figure out what he wants to do, because he doesn't want to hide in this guy's shadow at all times. However, he feels obligated to help him because he sees a shining star in him. So it's like just a really, really interesting series in general, and I'm excited to read more. I don't know when the next volume is coming out, but yeah, if you like genuinely gripping like drama series, this is a really good one. And obviously there's only 1 volume right now, so yeah, give it a chance. Next up, an absolute classic, and I'm excited I finally get to read the 2nd volume. This is Battle Angel Alita. This is volume 2. This goes more into like this like, I forgot what this like game is called. It's like Motorball or something like that. But basically it's like a racing, like almost like soccer, kind of, not even soccer. It's like racing but with a ball, and if you have the ball at the end, you win the race. but it's just like a genuinely interesting series. I really like this series. I think the visuals are gorgeous, and in a good way, like it takes advantage of that classic like design. Yeah, and I like the world a lot too. I think the world's really cool, and I think this volume specifically goes really well into it's like the culture of like the sport, and just kind of more into the world. So yeah, excited to pick up volume 3, and I think 4 is also out right now, or maybe even 5. I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention. Alita is not a series that I'm like actively collecting because no offense to Kodansha, but their prints have been pretty bad in terms of the spine and the covers for these, so I've been holding off until they get better. But maybe that is just a mistake, and I'll just have to bite the bullet. But for now, I'm being patient, so yeah. But good series. Alright, for my girlfriend's collection, once again, Skip and Loafer. This is volume 3. This is the one that just recently came out. And just more wholesome goodness, more development for Mitsumi and all her friends. This is about like her summertime in Tokyo. Just, yeah, just a really cute series. And like, it has a surprising amount of depth. Excuse me, I have a hard time saying that word. But yeah, just a surprising amount of depth, not what you'd expect from a slice of life series. I think it really builds the characters really well, and just genuinely interested in rooting for her as a character in terms of becoming a better person and also potentially dating someone. So yeah, excited to see how that develops in the next volume. Next up, this is Forget Me Not. This is a series that's been that I like bought on a whim because I was just like, I want to just try something new, see what happens. And yeah, it was did not disappoint, but I am very skeptical about where it's gonna go. So it's about this dude who was kind of a complete jerk for most of his life until recently, I guess, or like when he's trying to atone in a way. But he gets into like a really bad accident and wakes up in the hospital, and he finds out that the person who saved him is somebody that he hurt in his past. So he's trying to remember who that person was, and yeah, it just goes into his past and how he really treated all these people very poorly, and how he's trying to figure himself out and trying to, like I said, atone for his for his terribleness. And so I'm curious as to where it's going to go. I really don't like the main character, but I think that's the point. So hopefully he gets some kind of mild redemption, or he like starts to apologize for what he's done, because yeah, he did a lot of really crappy things to say the least. But yeah, this is a really nice cover, I must admit, and it's really smooth and stuff, so excited to get more. Alright, an absolute classic that I got in a really big bundle that was really cheap, so I was really excited to get it. This is Pretty Face Volume 1 by Yasa Hirokano. What an absolutely bonkers series. So basically what this is about like this ruffian guy who is depicted as a devil here, gets into another really bad accident and wakes up, and he looks just like his really big crush. And the reason why he looks like his crush is because when the doctor was trying to reconstruct his face that after it got like completely decimated by fire, he found a picture of this girl, and he was like, well, you look that's what I thought you were. So he has to go back to school and trying to like basically reconfigure his life, and then he meets the girl that he looks like, and ends up finding out that that girl had a twin sister that ran away from home, so they think it's her, but like the family thinks it's him as her. So it's really weird. It's just like an absolutely bizarre like series, but super funny. If you like that classic 2000s humor, then this is like right up your alley. So yeah, genuinely excited to read more because I know it's a pretty short series. So yeah, fun one. Probably the weirdest thing that I read this month, because I still don't really know what the heck I read, but this is Yokoyama Yuichi's Outdoors. So let me just show you the cover real quick. So like it's a really nice cover. It's done by like this group in the UK called Breakdown Press. I have never heard of them before, but just a genuinely weird book, manga. There's no words, there's no dialogue. It's all just like visuals, and they are like absolutely weird abstract visuals. But from what I can tell, it's mostly just like a like kind of not retrospective, but like an overview of like the outdoors and how people treat the outdoors and the environment. So yeah, that's all I can really say on it, because I really still don't know what the heck I read, but, and I kind of want to read more. The interview at the end, there's an interview with the writer, or with the author, Yokoyama Yuichi, which kind of delves more into it, but I wouldn't say it's like entirely helpful, but it definitely is one of those, you have to read it for yourself to figure out what the heck's going on. And yeah, if you know anything about this, please let me know, because I barely know anything, and I found it at a random comic book store, so yeah, bought it on a whim. Ta-da, here we are. Please let me know. And into the final stretch we go. So, for the first of the last stretch, we have Mashley, Volume 5. Yeah, just overall really good volume. Goes into more detail about the main villain group. And they finally find out that Mashley doesn't have magic, which is a lot to unpack here. But yeah, excited to see where this goes. Not much to say. It's just more comedy. Definitely a lot more action in this one. A little bit more serious. So, yeah. And then our Harry Potter lookalikes all start to appear. So, yeah. Generally excited to read more. Next up, a new series that I read. That I also found that I've been actually trying to look for a long time. And excited to finally pick up the first volume. This is We Were There, Volume 1. And there is so much to talk about in this series. Like, what did I just read is the first reaction I had, I think. The main girl is very shy, comes to a new school, doesn't really know what's going on, tries to make friends, and finds out about this boy that's super popular, which is this guy. And yeah, you end up finding out this guy is kind of an absolute dickhead, is I think the nicest way to put it. But there seems to be a lot going on about his past and about people he used to talk to and meet that really affected him. And yeah, but just some of the stuff he says, just like, what? Like, wow, I wasn't expecting that kind of thing. So interested to see what the heck's gonna happen next. But yeah, there is a lot to unpack in this one. A lot of emotions running high. There's a lot of drama for the first volume. I wasn't expecting that, considering that the other romance series that I'm reading are very wholesome. So this was a complete, like, rubberneck in a way. So yeah, genuinely interested to see where this goes. Next up is a really big series that people love so much, and I kind of enjoy. This is Hunter x Hunter Volume 34, and what the heck is this volume? I think is the best way to say this. I had to double back and check Hunter x Hunter Volume 33 to see, like, wait, was this, like, supposed to happen kind of thing? Because this jumps right into a fight between Crollo and Hisoka, and I went to go check the last volume. The last volume ends with you meeting all of the people from the Dark Continent, like all the princes of the other country, and yeah, like, what is this? What is this part? Is this just like an extra little thing that they threw in? Like, I am so confused about, like, why that's how this volume started, but to give it the benefit of the doubt, it is one of the best fights in the series, in my opinion, between Crollo and Hisoka, but, like, it doesn't make... whiplash is the best way to say it. Like, I was just like, wait, what? Why did this happen? Why is this the part that, like, we have to focus on right now? Because it's, like, kind of important, but kind of not. So, yeah. But genuinely a really interesting fight, and visuals were nice as usual. I really like Tagashi's art, and I hope he gets better. Not to finish the series, but just in general, I just hope he gets better. But yeah, just a very bizarre volume, to say the least. Up next, I read the first volume of the iconic Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, and wow, what a flippin' difference between the anime and the manga. First of all, the manga is so much faster. You meet most of the Sailor Scouts in the first volume versus the anime, which takes like a good 24 episodes to meet most of the people you meet in this volume. So yeah, definitely a lot faster, and the characters have more abilities, and some of the characters are different. It's like weird. It was weird to read this, considering that I just watched the anime like a couple months ago, or I was watching the anime. I stopped around episode 60. So yeah, but the art's pretty good. It's not my favorite. I actually prefer the anime at some points, but I do think that the manga does that well at certain points, but it also has like this, like, the old school shojo designs, which are not necessarily my favorite. But yeah, and something that was very jarring to me actually about this series is weirdly enough is Sailor Mars's, also known as Ray's, two ravens, Phobos and Deimos, because man, they do not look like ravens at all. Yeah, it's a weird thing to talk about, but I am a bird person, so like it was very jarring to see that. But yeah, this is overall a pretty good first volume. I'm excited to read more. I do have the second volume, so I'll probably be talking about that in March. Up next, yes, talked about it in the January reading log, and here we are in the February reading log with more lovey-dovey cutie stuff. This is volume 3 of The Sign of Affection. Once again, Sumo Ishita has taken over my life, and I don't know what else to say. This volume was amazing, more cute, more understanding, more like, just like so many good things happen in this volume. For big spoilers for this series, I'm going to talk about them right now, so if you don't want to hear them, just skip ahead like probably a good 30 seconds to a minute. But this is the volume where he finally asks her out, and it is so cute, so wholesome. And I like that he travels a lot, so you get to see more, and it really fills my traveling kick that I do not have right now because I'm stuck indoors because of a certain thing that we can't say because it will affect our rankings on the YouTubes. So, but you know what it is. So, but yeah, this is overall a really good volume, and I'm super excited to read volume 4 when I get it, because I'm a foolish man and I do not get the volume 4 for some reason. But yeah, this was a great volume, probably my favorite one to date. So yeah, excited for more. And then we jump straight into a series that I'm just so glad is finally over. And yes, that sounds negative because it is negative. This is Platinum End Volume 14, and I cannot believe how this volume ended. Like, I was gobsmacked, and that makes me sound old as hell, but there's no other way to say it. My jaw was on the floor, and not in a good way. I was like, really? That's how it ends? I guess it's kind of ironic because that's the name, but yeah, it sucks because I feel like Obata's art is wasted on this very meh series, and it's like just very frustrating because I feel like the series had a really good thing going at the beginning, but really just lost all of its gas, lost all of the winds in its sails about halfway through, and really was treading water for a long time, and I'm just glad it's over. And kind of very mad about how it ended. So yeah, but gorgeous volume cover and a really nice spine, but not much else to say about that. I'm not gonna give any spoilers because this just came out, so I'll give people time to read it. But if you know, then you know. Oh my gosh. All right, coming up next, this is Bakuno Volume 2. This is the manga adaptation of my favorite anime, Bakuno. I love this series to death, and I do not read the light novels because I am a fool, and but hopefully someday maybe I will try and get them. Doubt it though. But Bakuno Volume 2, this starts to lead up more to where the anime was. Volume 1 was a lot more, what's it called? Like backstory, like before the anime starts. This was closer to where the anime is. So I'm curious as to what Volume 3 is going to hold. But if you know anything about Bakuno, this series is really cool. Basically, it's about 1920s Prohibition era, like mafia people in the Americas, and it focuses on a variety of different characters. In the manga, it focuses on Firo Procianezzo, I think is how you say his name, Italian, and his friend, or I guess associate, Maiza, which is this guy on the cover. And yeah, it's about like him, about Firo growing into like his boss family and learning about the other people and like just like kind of discovering everything about it, but mix in some supernatural stuff like homunculi and immortality and stuff like that. And yeah, you get a genuinely interesting story. So if you get the chance, watch the anime. The anime is pretty short. I think it's 13 episodes. But if you can get a hold of the manga, kudos to you because they are like impossible to find. I had to get Volume 3 online because I saw it once when I was on a trip in Boston and didn't buy it like an absolute goof. So hopefully my volume comes in soon so I can read it and finish it. But yeah, this is just generally a really great series. Absolutely good. And for the last volume of 2022 February, we have ourselves Dragon Ball Super Volume 2. Yeah, it's Dragon Ball Super. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's great. It's very entertaining. I think it's a nice little filler, I guess. It fills the hole that Dragon Ball left and Dragon Ball Z left, because I finished that last month, which if you watched the other reading log, I mentioned. But yeah, it feels very weirdly paced. Like, I feel like things just kind of like speed through in this. I feel like you're supposed to be watching the anime or watching certain things like alongside it for it to be more impactful. I don't know. It's weird. I don't think it's necessarily great, but I am enjoying it. So excited to read more for now. But yeah, that's about it for Dragon Ball Super. And that concludes February 2022 manga reading log for that manga dude here. Let me know what you guys were reading in February 2022 and what you guys think of the series that I read, because I know I read a lot in theoretics, like in terms of a variety of different series, but this is how I do. I know a lot of people prefer to read like 1 or 2 series for an entire whatever, but I don't know, I don't work like that. I would say I am not the norm. I am very much the exception here. But yeah, let me know what you guys were reading in February 2022 and what you thought of the series that I read in February 2022. And remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode or the next video. Later!